Welcome, caller. This is JC Rios on WACR 90.3 FM. And who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hello, my name is Rhythm.
Oh, Rhythm. How you doing, Rhythm?
Hello, guys.
Good,
Hey.
good.
What's up, President and Mr. Treasurer?
Yeah. Hey, Rhythm, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just calling in to say that I am very proud of you. I'm glad that you guys went on the air. Um, I'm also want to say that I am honored to be part of such a great organization. I am looking forward to what's ahead of us. I know we have so many goals that we're setting, and I know for a fact that our team is going to be able to accomplish every single one of those goals.
You know,
I am, again, very honored to be part of a great organization and to have all of you as backup on every movement that each of one of us make. Um, Again, I'm just very happy to be part of a great organization, and I am so looking forward to everything that we're going to accomplish. And I just
you
very
know,
proud.
you
And this is just the beginning. I know, and we have so many things that we're still trying to grow. Um, but I know we're going to be able to do it. And again, it's about the kids. And as our motto say, their fight is our fight to the end. And that's the mission.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just very happy to be part of a great organization.
I want to say what it is. I always love the support, and when people, you'll be out in the street and people will say, "You guys are amazing. You guys are making a difference." And although we appreciate the love, but the fact is, they give us something to do that we enjoy, ride motorcycles. But I want to comment something about what you said before, that you're proud of me, proud of what we do. Females in this fight are very important. I've been doing this, over 10 years now, and the fact of the matter is that a lot of times we see the abusers being males. They're usually and it's sad because usually the father, the uncle, and it's usually someone that we open our front door to. So it's someone that we thought we could love. And so someone like you, Rhythm, coming into this world and willing to join their fight is our fight, kind of that slogan. The fact is, a lot of times I see that there's an abused child that won't take to one of the guys because they kind of were let down by these role models. So that's why females like yourself are changing the world and making the difference, because we couldn't do this without a females joining this fight. So I watch my sisters, I applaud them because they're willing to put themselves. Just take that in for a minute. You take some of these women, and I've seen some of them at like 95 pounds, and they are some bad. I watch my language on the show, but I'll say, I saw some of my
Shut your mouth.
yeah, I saw some of my sisters, man. They're hardcore. They get off their motorcycles and they drive some big Harleys. They're like 95 pounds after rain. So, Rhythm, I applaud you, and I tell you that we couldn't do this without the females, because a fact of the matter is, most of the time the abusers are males, and so that's why we need the females to be a part of this fight. And people know that when I've been doing this, and it's just, man, my hope and my the ultimate goal is that there's not a need for what we do. Nobody wants to fight child abuse, but the fact is, it's real, and we have to do it. So, someone like you, Rhythm, that's willing to put yourself in harm's way. Uh, if these guys were willing to hurt a child, I mean, we had a case in Staten Island where we had a young boy. He was tortured. His hands were put into boiling water, and it didn't stop there. there was a police officer. She was a wonderful woman. She used to be a member of my previous organization. She kind of connected with this kid. He was shot in his hand. I think he was about 5 years old. I mean, he suffered at the hands of abuse. So when you roll up to these kids' houses and you see the abuse, it kind of hits you. You look at the abuse, you see their hands were just scarred forever. We can never imagine. So I see some of these females, man. They're tough, man. They Rhythm.
Yeah.
You're a tough chick, man. I gotta tell you.
Shout out. We got to give a shout out to Ziggy.
Oh yeah, and Ziggy,
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's my girl. Where's she at?
yo, Ziggy come rolling down the street, man. I'll tell you one. I just want to tell you something, man. Right, when I first met Ziggy, I was intimidated a little bit, man. But listen, the fact of the matter is, we all have hearts, and we all have one goal here. And the fact is, our goal is to make sure that these kids, they know they have a good support system.
Absolutely.
And with CAPO, we're gonna leave no kid left behind. We're gonna do whatever it takes to protect the
That's right.
child. And I want to just say real quick to the listeners, to Rhythm, to Ziggy, to the rest of our crew, get out there and make the difference, because the simple thing that we may think is not a big deal, it may change a child's life. Um, One of the first kids that I met, her road name was, one of the great things about what we do is we give the kids a biker name. And she was about 8 years old. I met her out in Long Island. And she couldn't live with the abuse. About 2 years after I met her, she took her own life. And the fact is, we can't save every child, but we have to continue this fight. And, for me, I look at the back of my vest, and to see where it says their fight is our fight, live by that, guys, because these kids are fighting alone. So get out there, Rhythm. I appreciate your call. I appreciate your support. And more importantly, for you to put that, that vest on and get out there in this world, and for the purpose of what we do, thank you. Hats off to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got to say, it's not going to be an
Well,
easy fight. We're going to be coming up against a lot of stuff. And there's no obstacle that we're not going to be able to overcome.
It's a true thing. It's sometimes we're put in harm's way. I was in the streets of Brooklyn when we actually stood there for a few days because the perpetrator wasn't arrested. So we had to go out there and we posted outside the house, and the neighbors loved us. And I gotta say, man, the family loves the presence of the motorcycle world, because to them it's a security thing. But the fact of the matter is, those kids have to wake up. They gotta live their life, get to school, come home from school. They want to they want to be a kid. They want to play on their stoop. They shouldn't have to stay in their house because they're afraid of a perpetrator. And that's the great thing even about CAPO. As we build this great organization, and we recently applied for our nonprofit, so we were already filed. So I tell your listeners, man, watch out. This organization's gonna really make a difference, and we're building, man. We're talking. I want to give a shout out to my Mike, one of my buddies, Mike. I grew up with in Brooklyn. He may be one of our first chapters opening up in North Carolina, and this is gonna change the world, man. We're gonna protect the children's. I mean, we're deep, man. We'll roll down a block, and we'll shut a block down if we have to, for a child to feel safe. And I want to give a shout out to the New York City Police Department. They always, shout out to the NYPD. They have supported not just me, but anything we have done when it came to a child. So, yeah, people, don't give up on New York. We're going to fight. We're going to keep going here, and we're going to keep this movement to protect the kids.
We got to give a special shout out to Highway, Pedro.
Oh, man, Pedro, Tico, Mike, Smokey, all these guys, all of these guys at the New York City Highway Patrol. These guys have supported these kids. Listen, when it comes to a child, all bets are off the table. Everybody comes together. I encourage not just the police department, but I want to send a clear message out to your listeners, to my followers, to DJ Jason Rios's followers. Join on, man. Make the difference. Be Make a purpose. Let's change the lives of these kids, man. They need us. I hear some of these stories in the schools, the bullying that's going on in the schools right now. I mean, I I heard a story about a kid getting beat so bad that he had to be taken to the hospital and put into an induced coma. I don't know how old the child was. Think of that mother or that father that had to ride to the hospital knowing that their kid was beaten so bad and bullied. We have to make a difference. Guys, like, support this thing, man. Child abuse is real, and these kids, they grow up with these scars, man. It's serious. Let, let's join our fight. Be the difference.
And you know what's scary about that? When you think about it, like Rhythm got children, you got children, I got children. That could
I
be
got
us.
grandchildren.
Hey,
I have a granddaughter that was
Well,
actually bullied in school for a little while too.
it hits
Not easy to
home.
deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it hits home for some of us.
you know, that could be
Mhm.
us. That could be us, our kids. You know, being bullied and
It's a good point that you bring out, and I want to just say, if your kids are listening, or if you want to bring a message to your kids, I think the best words that we could look down and get on their level, knee down to a child, and
Mhm.
look them in the eye and say, is there something going on that you want me to know? It's also it's too often that we live this life of craziness, madness here, especially in New York City, where do you really take the time out of your day to sit with your child at the table and say, what's going on, how's everything, and kind of read their language? Listen, I saw a 13-year-old girl who was being abused, and this girl was showering with her clothes on.
hmm,
If that's not a clear message of abuse, then I don't know what is.
hmm.
So I tell everybody, like, look for signs, look for, and speak with your kids, man. Get on their level. The fact is, it's real, and these kids are holding that pain inside, and that's when we see suicide. When you think of
Mhm.
suicide, you think of an adult, but no, kids are taking their own lives
Yep.
because they don't want to walk to school. And I want to say to the New York City public school system is that we got to do a better job. We got to give these kids resources. You guys got to look at organizations. I mean, I want to give a shout out to Staten Island, man. Staten Island, parts of Brooklyn have supported our, and DJ Rios could relate to this. We have worked with Family Services of Staten Island. Like, we not worked for them, but we worked by their side. We've done some events with them. But I'm asking you guys, please support what we do. We're there, and we want to just make the difference. That's the
Mhm.
great thing about what we do. So shout out to you, Rhythm. We appreciate your call, and continue fighting the fight. No child
Yeah.
deserves this. We're going to stand with them.
All right. Well, I wanna say one more thing, Demo. I wanna go back into what we do, um, in the sense of when we are called that the child is afraid. What is it exactly? Can you tell them exactly what we do when we have to stand guard in front of the home to make the child feel safe? Can
Yeah,
you explain that a little bit?
yeah. So the fact of the matter is, with us building the new organization, what we're looking to do is, once we get a call, CAPO will receive a call that a child is being abused, and with the permission from the legal guardian, we'll roll out to their house. And ultimately, our first thing is the child in danger? And the new organization, not only the child being in danger, but is their legal guardian in
Mm.
danger? Because the fact is, they love their mom, they love their nuna, their grandmothers, their grandpas. So building the new organization, not that we just protect the child, we want to protect the family,
Yeah,
man.
they
Because that,
become the victim as well.
yeah, and that's what we see. So that's a great question, Rhythm. What do we do? Let me tell you what we do. We'll show up to the house. We'll make sure there's no more threat. And what do we mean by that? We want to be sure that the perpetrator is not a threat to the family no more. We used to say child, but we say the family, which includes the kids and the parents. And what does that mean? That means if the perpetrator is still at large and can get access to the kid or potentially hurt the family, we're going to stay at the family's house. I've done this. I've stayed in some of the toughest streets across the 5 boroughs for days with little sleep, overnight, all day outside of a kid's house. So that's what that means. We will sit guard outside of the kid's house, the front, the back. We could have up to 6 bikers, 20 bikers at a time surrounding a house so that we are sure that the family is safe. And let me tell you, they say, okay, what happens when the family got to go grocery shopping? Well, jump on in because I guess we're going shopping with the family. um, the kids got to go to doctors, and let's look at this. They got to go give they may have to go up and see their therapist and rethink that abuse. So we'll go with the kids. Sometimes, we'll get a couple bikes in front of their car, behind their car, give them an escort to the wherever they may be going, and the kids kind of like the escorts because they feel really empowered. So basically, what it is, it's we don't want to leave any kid behind. So if there's a threat, we'll stay with the kids until two things happen. We want to make sure the threat is removed and the fear is gone. Once the fear is gone and there's no threat, then CAPO will step back and just pretty much support the kid and the family from there forward. And listen, if there's no threat and the kids are okay, we'll still respond out to the house. The kids may need food. The CAPO will buy some food. We'll throw some food in their refrigerator. I mean, this is, and we'll even connect them with some agencies that could provide those resources. But with us, if we got to make sure that family goes to bed with a full stomach, I saw some of my brothers, shout out to Shortcut again. I watched my brother for years spend his own money so that he could help kids that were really living in poor conditions. And so I've seen several brothers and sisters do that. But yeah, that's when you think of the extent, I think that kind of hits right where what we do. It's a great thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, great interview. I'm glad that DJ, Mr. Jason Rios, was able to provide us this platform. Uh,
No,
and
this
I
is
guess I'll see you guys soon.
awesome. Brother, you have a blessed evening, and thanks for
All right.
calling.
Guys.
All
Have a
right,
good
thanks.
night.
Good night. Thanks.
Demo, I gotta think, man. I gotta remember that, you know, this is real. I mean, everything that I hear from you, it is so real. I mean, and it's an honor to have, Capo in existence. It's been a long time coming, and back in our days, we didn't have anybody. And it's so good to know that even though the world is changing at such a fast pace, that Capo's trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about rebuilding. That not rebuilding, but building an organization to make sure that we do everything that we can in our power to protect the child. And the fact is, it's real, and this is working. What we're doing is working. I see it. I've sat in court. I've rolled up to plenty of kids' houses, so this works. It's really happening. So shout out to you for giving us this time to make sure the listeners know what's happening out there.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, brother. I want to thank you once again for coming over. My brother Demo, thank you so much for coming over and just filling us in, and what's going on out there. Once again, guys, Jason Rios, and we not only cover house music and music in general, we do interviews about life situations, like things that are really going out there. And hopefully one day, Demo, maybe we can get the whole team out here.
Yeah, I think they'd love that, man. Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
I think that should be, everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has different opinions of why they're joining Capo. And we want to hear from them, if our listeners are listening and get the point, and they can have their children next to the radios to see what these biker guys are doing, I think that'll make an even bigger and better impact, All right, guys, we're going to continue with the music. We have a few minutes left, and we want to thank you again for tuning in and, and for all the love and support. Once again, special guest,